we end up doing and not doing a lot of things in life, and the same goes to few things like prayers, rituals, dharma, crystals, and spirituality without completely understanding it. I get it, it's quite difficult to understand all the human elements, and on Glitters of Life podcast we uncover not just what humans can do but how. And today we have with us Snehal R, who is a TEDx speaker, author, and publisher, and we are going to talk about all those aspects of prayers, rituals, and all the other things that we have talked about. So, Snehal, welcome on the show. It is such a pleasure to have you over here.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, how is it going?
Amazing. New start, new year. So great.
Absolutely. And as I said, these are the elements that we are going to talk about, which is often not talked on these platforms because we are consuming it. We are having the half ideas related to it, and it's quite hard to know like why is it so. We are just following those particular trends. So I want to know from you, like, what are prayers, and are they only meant for satisfying our desires? How it plays? Like, is there any kind of logic to it?
So there is now even scientific evidence which proves that prayers actually do work. Uh, Prayers are far more than just a hotline of divine customer care, is how I would say it. Uh, it's See, desires is one point. That's just a starting point that gives somebody that, okay, if I want this, I can pray for it. And that's what pushes us to ask for help in situations where we either feel helpless or we feel we don't know. But if we look deeper, okay, prayers is about building a relationship with something that is larger than ourselves, something that is bigger than ourselves. They are conversations with the universe. It's also a moment of surrender where you're letting go of things and not taking control and just surrendering, saying, okay, this is what I want. I don't know how to get there, and a way of acknowledging that yes, I am a part of something that is bigger than me, and therefore beyond desires, prayers actually kind of foster gratitude and mindfulness into an individual. That's my understanding of it. They give us a moment to take a pause, reflect, uh, recharge ourselves. And so, as I said at the beginning, science is now proving that, like placebo effect, and we'll talk more about it, but uh, regular prayer and meditation can rewire our brains. It can make us calmer, reduce stress, and make us more compassionate and focused. Okay. So while desires get us to the door of the prayer, okay, it is way beyond that. There is more to prayers. There is peace, there is clarity, there is connection, and a lot of inward lookingness that comes with it. So yeah.
And who introduced you to these prayers? Because it usually happens that we may believe, we may not believe. It is taught to us by our elders, and so it happens that we see and then we try to do this kind of things. Because in Hindu family as well, there is kind of this notion like you have to pray to the god, then you'll be getting benefit from it. It just makes you calm and peaceful. So these are all the practices that we have been following, but no one ever questioned like why we are doing this. What will I get in return? Because humans are always mean, like they expect something in return. So what was the case with you?
So for me, in a way, my questioning happened way beyond, and I think when I probably crossed my 26, 27. But fortunately, unfortunately, I was born in a family where my nani, or my grandmother, she was very ritualistic. Like, she wouldn't touch you until the prayer in the morning is done. And if she is bathed, then that thing that we follow, where she'll not touch anyone until everybody else is bathed
Yeah.
and things like that, or her prayer is done. So that was one background that I came from. And then the school that I was brought up in was a typical co-ed school, but it was
Oh.
a typical Brahmin school. So our assembly used to take 1 hour, where Atharva Shesha was a normal narration
Arre
that was
baapre.
expected. Okay. So I did it because I was good at pronunciation, and I just did it because I liked, learning language patterns. For me, it was just about elders have told me to do something and I will do it. Okay. I was also kind of lucky because, as I said, my grandmother was very ritualistic. She used to do all those, in Maharashtrians, we do that sak parayan
Yeah.
and, everything with the proper home, havan, which goes on for days. And I was the only child in the entire family where the Panditji who used to come, we used to call him Appa, he would not have chai or anything from anyone else's hand. So even when I was like really small, they used to give me a stove on which separate food will be cooked, and that food used to be by me. Okay.
Oh,
So I was like an important factor of all these things. Like all his sons are sitting in a row narrating the mantras, and I'm sitting right next to them, the only girl sitting and narrating mantras. I have no idea of what am I saying, but I had learned it and I was narrating it. And my father kind of was very ritualistic as well. He used to not step out of the house at times without checking the calendar. You know, Kalnirna used to have muhurat, that
yeah,
Muhurat thing, he would actually follow that. So for me, it was a thing that I did because it was supposed to be done. But when I had the opportunity to go to actually temples and so on, I didn't even like the concept of sitting there and folding my hands. I was like, I'm here, right? I'm talking to you. I can talk to you directly. Why do I have to do this and talk to you? So
yeah,
I've always had a conversation in a way, okay, when I'm narrating or talking. Um, and that was what it was, okay. Then life began. I stepped out of the home. I was already working. When you're working, when you're living alone, you genuinely have no time for something called as Dev Puja, or even having a concept of, okay, I should keep Ganpati ka murti somewhere, or, any of those concepts. I was way far away from all of these things. And I started realizing that it is not about idol worship at all. It is about
hmm,
the connection. Because I was not doing idol worship, but I was still praying. I was having a conversation on regular basis when things went bad, so on and so forth. As time passed by, I think my connect with prayers again forcefully kind of began when I got married into a Christian family where prayer was a ritual that was done regularly. It
yes,
is something that you sit and do before every meal. You sit and do first thing in the morning. You have to go to the church. And that's when I started again exploring, okay, if this is such an important ritual, what is it really doing? Okay,
yeah.
and how is it changing the brain, mind, so on and so forth. So my reintroduction happened that way. But in a way, to answer Rohit, I think knowingly, unknowingly, fortunately, unfortunately, I've been in and around this culture since I was born.
Great to know. Great insights out there, and I could relate to that Kal Nirnay part because that day I was telling to my mom like we should be having that Kal Nirnay. काफी detailed होता है उसमें, and we'll be having like accurate information because it usually happens that most of the calendars may not be having the precise information, and when we follow those kind of prayers or something around the rituals, it is important to have that. And as you said, like worshipping the idol, I would love to give my example of my father. He always does a puja and then ventures out. So he follows that kind of a gesture all the year along. So it's quite good to know like each and every individual is following a different approach. And we were talking about the prayers. I have noticed this that we have this gestures in place. So we'll be with the Christian family, it's more of this kind of a gesture. With the Hindu family, it's namaskara. With the Islamic people, just have this kind of thing. So, do you feel that it gives you a different vibe or the energy when we have this kind of gestures, or it's upon the individuals?
Ideally, scientifically speaking,
Hmm.
okay, when we actually do this or this or this, okay, or even this, we're actually completing a circuit in our
Okay.
body which is in alignment with the mother earth, okay, because so we are in connection. That's how I would say it, okay. Even in pranic healing, the first thing that we learn is to get in alignment. To complete the circle, we touch our tongue to the palate, and that completes an entire cycle. Okay, so that is
Okay.
one of the reasons. Second is again speaking about science and chakras and
Yeah.
medical reason. When we hold our hands near our heart, okay, it in a way is a symbolization of the heart chakra being active, which simply means, and everything, if, irrelevant of which religion we come from, everything still comes down to love is God and God is love.
Yeah.
And that is the most powerful feeling. So even when you look at um, David Hawkins' work on frequency chart, love is the highest frequency. Okay. So in a way, I think it is our way of knowingly, unknowingly letting the love from us pour out in various ways, and that's how I look at it. Um, but it's a very natural thing.
Yeah.
If you see, even in Western culture, when somebody has to be nice or request, the hand automatically goes on the heart. So I think it's how we are naturally wired, and knowingly we are doing it, either with an intent or not with an intent, but I think it's ingrained. Does it change the vibrancy or frequency? I think it takes courage to do this, because you need to humble yourself
Mm.
and let that ego or that guard down. And I think we all need that every now and then, so that we can see ourselves clearly.
Yeah.
One of the most difficult things for a human being to do is confronting your own self. One of the
Right.
difficult journeys for self love also comes from there, because I don't want to see myself for who I am. And that's where everything actually begins. So I think it's a very humbling thing to do. And it's impossible to have, you know, this position and not feel love.
Yeah.
So, it does create some energy definitely in the body for sure.
Right. And it's so interconnected with each other. Like we never know unless and until we delve into it, we won't be able to find answers. And you were talking about the science or the scientific evidence behind the prayers. So, what you have discovered about these?
So it's there is scientific evidence that prayers, meditation have effects on brain as well as body.
Okay.
Especially, it is shown that if a person who does regular prayers, it activates the prefrontal cortex of the brain, okay, which is associated to decision making, action taking, and focus. Doing prayers regularly or meditations regularly actually calms down the amygdala, which therefore controls the stress responses in the body. So, prayer is a very powerful tool which works directly on anxiety and very much on improving mental health. And with my coaching practice so far, and
Yeah.
working with multiple individuals, Rohit, what I've realized is, when I have literally prescribed to certain individuals saying, just do forgiveness prayer every day before you go to sleep, okay, just do like a 5 finger prayer, okay, before you go to sleep every day, they've seen shifts in the way they feel about themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's just a how do I say, prayers work like placebo effect.
Okay.
How medical science work, it literally works on a power of belief, and it is capable of triggering certain chemicals like dopamine, endorphins into the brain. And therefore, individually done prayers or group prayers, okay, actually work magical, because they have influential outcomes. And therefore many people choose to do prayers in groups and so on and so forth. Therefore, family prayer actually is a great ritual to have. But even if you look at our Hindu culture, we don't actually do that
Hmm.
anymore. Like, I remember we used to have Shubham Karoti every day
Every day.
evening, which I haven't heard for a really long time now.
Maybe the last time we assembled together is only on Ganpati festival or the Navratra.
And but then when we are doing the Ganpati festival or Navratra, we are actually just doing the arti or
Yeah.
the prayer that is a ritual. Everything else is done together, but we are not actually sitting together and praying together, asking for each other, expressing gratitude as a family. And I think that works magical.
Hmm. It's important to understand its importance actually, because we are just following the traditions, we are just following the rituals, but we don't know what's the logic behind it, what's the evidence about it. And if you would like to recommend something like people can know from following these books or the videos, what it would be like, anything that you would love to share? Because
So,
now you got me curious, like all the terms you have used, like how do I then read more about it?
for prayers and meditations, there are actually a lot of books. There are a lot of books written even by um, the same writer whose autobiography of a yogi is there.
Yeah.
His books on meditation explain a lot. Prani Killing, Master Chow Kok Sui's all books explain a lot in terms of what does a prayer do to the body, okay? And similarly, he did an entire work towards forgiveness prayer. Just by taking forgiveness prayer as an example, he had spent over 5 to 10 years only experimenting what does it do to the human body. And there were some amazing experiments done, Rohit. Like, you can even check the videos
Yeah.
online. But forgiveness prayer is a 10 seconds prayer where we meet people in our daily life every day, and knowingly or unknowingly, we have hurt somebody and somebody's hurt us. We
Yeah.
may remember or not remember, but the nervous system actually doesn't remember, doesn't forget things. Okay. So, say for example, you and I don't get along anymore, but we used to be good friends. Okay. People like this have been picked up for the experiment. And say, for example, both of us want to work on the relationship.
Yeah.
Okay. So, both do the forgiveness prayer, and aura can now be checked through camera. Okay. People who have done it together, they have seen the aura of an individual change by just doing the prayer. Okay. At the same time, say for example, you say, I don't want to do anything to do with Snehal, I'm not going to even participate into this. Okay. And I choose to work on it. Still, if we check the aura of me when I begin the journey, and you, with me just doing the prayer, your aura also changes. The relationship, the connection, the energetic connection that we have created, which is not so positive, will start shifting. And this is scientifically proven. So, there are a lot of evidences. You can check out the work in pranic healing. You can check out the work in any energy science books. Okay. And there are a lot of books by the master. I don't know. I can't remember his name of it right away. But yes, the autobiography of a yogi, the same person, his books are there on meditation, 101 meditation. It explains a lot.
Great. We'll be adding that in the episode description. People can check it out from there. And we have talked a lot about like you have to do many things. You have to pray. There's the scientific evidence, and then how that logic rolls behind it. But then there are people out there who don't want to do anything. They are the atheists, and they're able to get what they want, and they're quite lucky, I would say. So even without praying, so how is it that possible?
See, they are not probably folding their hands and sitting, or they are not probably believing in a power greater than them, but they're still applying the same principles that any individual does apply. Okay. So, for instance, if we take law of attraction concept, okay,
Okay.
goal setting, visualization, they're still doing all of that right, because they're not believing in a power greater than them. They're believing in themselves, and they're believing that, okay, this is what I want to achieve. They're able to visualize, and the universe is so amazing. It responds to thought, clarity, and action. So
Right.
whether I'm a believer or an atheist, as long as I have thought, I have clarity, and I know what I have to do, the universe will respond.
Hmm.
Therefore, being atheist or not, it will work. It is just that when we are down, when we feel that nothing is happening, see, if I'm an atheist, then I'm not dependent on anybody.
Yeah.
Okay. But if I'm not, then my dependency on external sources comes in, and the power greater than that. So then that does the filling in to create the dopamine in my brain to help me focus to get where I want to be. So, outcome, prayer or not, the recipe is simple: focus, action, and trust.
Right.
And according to neurolinguistic programming also, it is said that, your intention directs your thoughts, and your thoughts direct your focus, and where focus goes, energy flows. So that's the formula.
Well, great to know. Maybe at on few days I feel like I'm in the middle of this thing. May not believe all of the things, but I start believing a few of the things. So I consider myself on a scale like I'm at 5, like from 0 to 10. So it's quite that thing for me because uh, I feel that we should be doing things. मतलब कि कर्मा कभी कभी अपनी केयर ले लेता है. You just don't have to follow all these kind of rituals or the prayers, but on some days it's good to have that faith into your own self and then acknowledge that particular through a prayer, so that can happen. And it's quite a deep topic, Snehal. There's a lot to explore about it, and I'm really not sure
Can
like people
I add
have
here
ever thought
something?
about this. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So, see, it is very simple. Okay. When you learned how to ride a cycle,
Huh.
you did not learn it in one day. Okay. Or when you learned how to drive a car, you did not learn it in one day. For you, first it was that ABC, clutch dabao, brake, accelerator, and that process happened for a while, which over practice, now you can talk, you can listen to music, shout at somebody from the window, and still drive right. Okay. So it came with an effort, which then became a skill, which then became a part of who you are.
Hmm.
So even with all these things, to be very honest, once I start believing, okay, initially the traditions, the rituals, the the small things that you're expected to do, they are only helping you build a belief. When
True.
that belief reaches the faith stage, then you don't need anything. You don't need to sit down. It becomes a part of who you are. And then you're working from that space of, I am a child of this universe, God, or, whoever it is that you believe in, and everything in this universe is available for me.
Yeah.
Then I'm not sitting down and doing that. So if you let's go a little beyond here. For example, entrepreneurs, huge, like if I'm talking about very big entrepreneurs, like even say Ambani's for that matter, okay, they are doing rituals, but the main Ambani is not sitting and doing rituals every single day, full day and whole day. They have the belief that we are supported and guided, and if my intent is right and to serve, everything is going to work out.
Right.
And the work is through which they are showing their dedication. So for us as well, only in times of distress, only in times of stress, they may work as rituals. Eventually we reach a point where we know. That's what I think is the difference between belief and faith. Okay, so at times we're acting from the space of faith, at times there is doubt. Only in doubt we need rituals. When there is no doubt, we are again acting from the space of faith.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Whatever we think, we have to do the work. There is no escape route for it. It's just the matter of the fact that how you want to go ahead with it. You may
Correct.
follow the ritual, you may follow the prayers, but it's up to you. If it suits, then we just have to go ahead. But knowing the importance of it, knowing the logic behind it is important, and that fact you have been reiterating, so that is a very cool thing. And
So
yeah.
let's talk about logic a bit. Okay, rituals are deeply ingrained in human psychology simply because we all are humans of patterns. We live by
Right.
pattern. If I tell you from tomorrow, Rohit, if you're brushing your teeth sideways using your right hand, from tomorrow I want you to use left hand. You have to go upward, downward motion. Okay, it is not going to be natural. Right now, you can wake up with your eyes closed, walk into the washroom, take the toothpaste, and you're doing it, okay, while probably doing 10 other things, messaging and so on and so forth. So um rituals is what gives us a sense of predictability, and predictability is one of the six human needs. Okay,
Okay.
certainty is one of the top human needs. Like if I do this, then I know this will happen. Okay, from that scientific standpoint, rituals reduce anxiety in an individual. They reduce the stress that anything would cause them, because they know that if I do XYZ, I will get XYZ outcome, and that itself works at a deeper level from conscious point of view. So therefore, lighting that diya every single day, having that dahi chammach before I step out of the house, these rituals are actually reducing stress and anxiety. Exam wale din hi kyun dahi cha, chammach, because you're
Padai nahi ki.
anxious. Huh? You're anxious, you're worried, and you're stressed. And when you're stepping out of the house, the family member wants to make sure that you're not anxious while you're driving or riding or reaching somewhere. So they give you that as a ritual because it calms you down. So, scientific point of view, rituals play an important role in handling your stress.
Okay. And if there doesn't exist any kind of rituals, what would be the state of mind or something around it?
Uh, People who don't follow any rituals, Rohit, they might be living or thriving on uncertainty a lot.
Okay.
And these are the people who may have other rituals, because we like certainty. See, six human needs, certainty, uncertainty are required. So when I have too much uncertain of a life, okay, then for certainty, either I'm doing rituals or I'm doing other rituals which are addictive. Okay, like people who want to read a book, I need to have a coffee, I need to have that smoke. That is also certainty. It's a ritual,
Yeah.
because I know after doing this, I'm going to feel XYZ. Okay. So, as a human mind, we will always find ways to fulfill our six human needs. Now, when they don't get fulfilled in a normal way, and just to keep us away from the addictions, is why in the old times, rituals had higher importance. The
Yeah.
certainty was taken care of. Life can be as uncertain as possible, but rituals give you certainty.
I was going to say that like life is totally uncertain. We never know what is going to happen tomorrow. So how do we rely on these factors?
Therefore, rituals give you that certainty factor, that human need of, okay, I know few things are in my control. If I light the diya, I know it will light up, it will burn for 1 hour. That is certainty in a
Yeah.
human mind. And when that need is fulfilled, we are working at our optimum best.
Hmm. True.
So,
And uh, you pointed about the diya, because you want, like, it's uncertain, it may stay or it may not stay, but then we are taking efforts toward to make it certain. So it's all about, like, whatever rituals you are following it, if you believe or not, you have to take actions towards it, so then it will be bringing in the results, is what I can infer from this conversation.
exactly. So, even if you're looking at highest achievers, you see they all will have certain rituals.
Hmm.
They'll do a
Hmm.
particular set of exercise before they show up. If you look at the amazing speakers just behind stage, they will do certain rituals before they get there. That is nothing but, in neurolinguistic programming language, it's an anchor. It sets you in the mood to do exactly what you're supposed to deliver. And
Right.
that's what rituals play in our life as well. It's just that it's a little healthier way of getting there. And anything overdose will always work as a barrier. So, while this is true, I would also like to say that anything too much will be unhealthy.
Huh.
Any beliefs, when you do them too much, they might act as a barrier, because the bag of beliefs that you carry to get one goal may not be the same bag of beliefs you need to achieve the second goal. So you'll have to change your bag of beliefs, you'll have to shift and change your rituals. If I'm traveling every single day, it's impossible for me to light a diya every single day.
Yeah.
So then I can't be dependent on that. And
Hmm.
therefore, I need to find something else so that I'm not addicted to the rituals.
Right. That day I was just scrolling through the social media, and then I came across this particular post, like how high achievers have this mudra, like they have this particular hand in position. And from last episode, I have been trying to do this. You may not notice in the frame, but it's just the part of it, like how you rewire yourself, and then you just see the change. Do you get comfortable? And the energy reflects through it. So it's the matter of fact that we may try to follow it, we may test the results, and then we try to make it a ritual. So it's up to us, like, do try and test it out. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
And what's your take on dharma, like why is it deeply rooted in our upbringing? क्योंकि हमेशा बताया जाता है कि नहीं, ऐसे करना है, इस राह पे चलना है, इस पाथ पे चलना है, ये किया तो वो अच्छा होगा, वो किया तो उससे ये अच्छा होगा. So how does this whole scenario plays into our mind?
So, my definition of dharma is a little different than what it is generally taken as religion. Because if we go back to Vedas, dharma wasn't religion.
Okay.
Dharma was what you do, okay, and a sense of right from the wrong, a sense of responsibility and purpose. And I feel that it started becoming a religion only when not everybody was ready to get educated.
Hmm.
Not everybody was ready to take in the knowledge and apply it, and therefore to keep the administration going and the world to, stay at its balance. Okay. Fear works better. That's why you see most countries also talk about it, that god fearing countries are more than god loving countries.
Huh.
Okay. Because fear works faster, whether manifestation or whether in life, fear always works faster. So somewhere I feel that it was something that was need of the hour at one point in time, and it has changed now, because today people are not driven by fear, they're driven by curiosity, they're driven by knowing things. And therefore you see Ramayana, Mahabharata, everything is getting decoded. Like
Yeah.
stories are written by very young people. I don't know if you saw my post recently, but I just helped somebody develop a website of a 14-year-old, okay, who has done immense research on every mythological character so far, whether it is Indian, whether it is Greek, whether it is Norse. I didn't even know Norse existed, okay. So, somewhere storytelling was one of the ways that we all learned, and that's where. Role models were created of how you should or should not be, okay. But if you look at how dharma plays for me, is very 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 simple. Whatever work it is that you're doing, if you're showing up for your work, then that is dharma.
Hmm.
If you're doing it at your bestest ability with all your heart, then that is dharma. And this is something that somebody said to me, a very close friend, her father, he's a big pundit in London. And he said this to me, Rohit, and it stuck with me. Since then, business language for me had changed. Prior to that, I was that kind of entrepreneur where I will do unlimited free services and
Yeah.
never ask. If you say I can pay you only this much, I'll say okay. And I will actually take in. And then I used to not show up at many events saying I don't like the way people are networking, so on and so forth. And then he said something which has stuck to me, saying, Snehal, if your dharma is to serve people, then you got to be out there where your clients are. Because when you don't do that and you don't show up, then there is somebody else who is not giving their 100%, but they are serving your clients, which is injustice towards your client
Get
because
it.
they're not getting what they actually deserve. So when you don't show up for your work, then you are not following your dharma. And that
Hmm.
stuck to me till date. Since then, I ask for what I believe I can charge. I will show up for my clients. And if I know that things are not going right, I'll definitely make sure that I'm there, at least for creating awareness.
Right.
So I would say dharma comes down to your act of living rather than the religion. Religion came from a space of fear.
Right. You're attracting your worth, I would say, and which is a good way to grow ahead in life because we have been doing a lot of things apart from work, and then we should be getting rewarded as well. And if we are following a certain path or process, then there's no harm in doing that kind of a thing because it usually sets up to learn more, to give more, and then,
But
yeah,
Rohit, we are not taught that. We are
right.
always taught to be of service first,
Service.
be of help first. And me being the eldest child across both sides of the families, I have always been told, don't question, just do what you have been told. Stop asking. It's your job to do, it's your job to help. So when you feel it's your job to help, I worked amazing in customer service and sales didn't come naturally to me.
Hmm.
So I had to bring in that shift,
Yeah.
to understand this. And this again came from a lot of stories.
Right.
Learning and reading a lot of stories is where, understanding of who I am, what my role is, and what my purpose is kind of started opening up for me. So, yeah.
And Snehal, all these practices is going to bring in a good kind of a response to our destiny is what I feel. But then what's the difference between the destiny and the intentional living? Because with the hope of reaching to a destiny, we may get diverted from the intentional living as well. It may happen with some of the people. So how do you see this in your life and the experience that you have seen with the people?
See, destiny is like a place where we have to reach, whether we like it or not. Now we have a choice of I choose a path where I can enjoy the route, or I can do kud the whole route and just get there. Okay, that's the difference between destiny and intentional living. Destiny is where you're going to get there, but intentional living, in the other hand, is where you choose to decorate the path. You are choosing and being aware of your free will. Okay, and then you're putting up efforts to shape that destiny much better than what it was.
Hmm.
So destiny, in a way, I personally feel, and again, if you have worked or understood a lot in terms of how the Atma and Paramatma are separated, and our goal at the end is to go back and meet the Paramatma, then you can reach your destination in a way you want to take that kacha road which has come your way because you chose not to google, not to find out which other road can I take, or you've done your enough research saying, okay, this is where I have to go. What are five different paths? Which is the best path? How can I enhance and get there in a better way and enjoy the entire journey as well? So destiny is the hand that you have been given to deal with, and intentional living is how you play your cards.
Great correlation. And to talk about this destination, yesterday I was out of town, and then we put the location at the map, and then we were taken from a different route. And just an example, like how pissed off we get once we just lose the usual track of like reaching to our destination. So it may happen with each and every individual. We just have to be patient. It's good to explore the new areas of life and see if it is worth pursuing that particular path.
Yes, and the magic happens when both of them align. When your
Yeah.
destiny and your intention living is in alignment, then it happens. And second, I don't believe that anything happens coincidentally. I
Hmm.
always believe that everything has happened for a reason. There was something that you either picked up because you chose to either not be careful, or you wanted to learn something and you have chosen it. In either ways, it is for you. Everything is happening for us. Nothing is ever happening to us.
Right. We
That is
just have
something that I totally believe in.
Yes, and we just have to be patient with the process. We just have to see, like, whatever actions we are taking, they will bear the fruits.
I think
And
that is rare nowadays. Patience. Being in an Insta world, asking for patience is little too much, in my opinion.
नहीं, हमारे ज़माने के लोगों में है अभी भी,
True.
बट द फ्यूचर जनरेशन, क्या अल्फा बीटा जो भी आ रहा है, जेन ज़ी एंड ऑल, it's quite scary to know like how they are dealing with such kind of instances. But yeah, होप है अभी भी.
Hmm.
और होप की जब बात करते हैं तो काफ़ी एक अलग अलग तौर तरीके हम यूज़ करते हैं. सो फ्यू पीपल हैव बीन रिलाइंग ऑन क्रिस्टल्स एज वेल. सो डू यू फील दैट दे आर रिलायबल एंड व्हाई शुड वन ट्रस्ट देम?
So there are many scientific evidences of the same as well. And I used to not believe in crystals earlier. There is this tradition of if you are an angry person, you should wear the moti and then it has to touch your skin and that will calm you down. So I used to not believe in all these things earlier. But with time and study, what I've
Mm-hmm.
realized is crystals are always formed over millions of years.
ओके.
Okay. They are not something, or at least centuries. They are not formed overnight. So, scientifically, if we look at the frequency, the crystals vibrate at a higher frequency than anything. So, when we bring them into our space, it automatically helps us change the vibrancy or frequency that we are vibrating at. It's as simple as 94.5 FM सुनना है तो 100 FM लगा के नहीं चलेगा.
नहीं चलेगा.
So they help, and they are uh, so there are a lot of people who treat them very ritualistically as well.
हाँ.
And I may be contradicting a lot of people right now here, but they have been formed over thousands of years, Rohit. They have more wisdom than we have. If you notice, even when we go to mountains, okay, people who go to mountains, if you see, they come back very refreshed
Yeah.
because there is so much wisdom in that land. It has stood strong and seen so many storms. It has the wisdom in it. The frequency level is very, very, very different. So we don't need to take care of them. They by default take care of us. Okay. And of course, each one will have their own quality, which is right according to the minerals. In our body, also, we need a certain minerals. So if you see, astrologically, also, there were stones that were prescribed. Okay.
हाँ.
If you look scientifically, an astrological body will have, if you're born in a certain month or so on, your combination of body has XYZ chemicals and minerals in it, and it is missing XYZ.
ओके.
So it has been prescribed to you so that you can have that frequency into your body. It's as simple as that. Because they're nothing but combinations of minerals. Okay.
ओके.
And when the time comes and if a chemical combination changes, then you don't need them anymore. It's as simple as that. Okay. But yes, they are, whether you believe it or not, if it has metaphysical powers or not, crystals help you with grounding as well. So, just another example from a scientific point of view, anchoring. Okay. If you read the book Magic as well, which is written by Rhonda Byrne, she says in the third chapter itself that find a rock, any
ओके.
rock, okay, and every day you're saying thank you, hold it in your hand and say your thank you list. So what you're actually doing is you're charging the stone in a way that every time you touch it, it is going to generate those feelings automatically in you. That's what anchors are. The way we listen to a certain song and we immediately travel to a
Yeah.
certain memory, or if you are walking past a particular building and you smell some nice dal tadka and you're like, this reminds me of this. It works exactly that way. So if you don't believe in its metaphysical powers, they still work as beautiful anchors which remind you of certain things depending on how you have charged them. Like rose quartz, people see and they're looking at love as an emotion, so you are charging it more than the stone is charging it. So yes, I do believe in crystals. Again, I always believe किसी को भी भगवान नहीं बनाना है. You don't have to make anything an addiction. It should not reach a stage where if it is not there, something is wrong with me. But they are tools for you to enhance your life.
Right.
Okay, but if they're not there, they cannot have a vice versa effect.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's interesting to know the concept behind it. It's interesting to know like how it works, and then will it work for you or not. It's all about like how much you believe into it, how much you want to try it to your own self, and then make a decision accordingly. But as in how you gave those reasonings, I feel that people will be having faith into it. So if anyone is willing to try those means and mediums out there, may try it, बट एट देयर ओन रिस्क, क्योंकि ये सारी चीज़ें सच होती है ऐसा भी नहीं है. इट्स ऑल अबाउट द एक्शंस दैट यू आर टेकिंग एंड इन व्हाट मैनर, बिकॉज इफ यू वांट टू हार्म समवन, देन योर इंटेंशन इज रॉन्ग एंड
Huh.
दैट
So
मे
everything
नॉट.
comes
या.
down to intent. Remember, we spoke about intention directs
राइट.
thoughts, thoughts directs your actions, and focus. And where focus goes, energy flows. So everything comes down to the intent. And when we start doing all of this, so Rohit, when I initially did, I have a tendency of learning something new, mastering it, and then moving on to the next one. So I have learned like 10,000 different things for sure. Like at times, my husband also says, what exactly do you know and what you don't know? But what I have known is the more we learn, the more our dependency starts reducing.
ट्रू.
Like, you're not dependent on that one ritual, you're not dependent on that definite prayer, you're not dependent on that one crystal, but your focus on who I am and what am I capable of will automatically enhance. But to get there, you still have to learn driving the way you learned ABC, accelerator, brake, clutch,
हाँ,
तो वो करना ही पड़ेगा.
वो तो करना ही
अगर
पड़ेगा.
नहीं किया है in the past.
पहले इस्तेमाल करो फिर विश्वास करो.
Correct.
पॉपुलेशन तो काफी बढ़ रही है,
Huh.
एंड यू वांटेड टू से समथिंग. या.
But then everything comes down to that, right? A faith will only be generated when you've believed something a lot. And to believe something, you have to value it for a long time. For that, you have to first take a lot of action. So why, trust anything blindly? Just do it, experiment it, and then make your own choices. You
हाँ.
don't have to agree with everything that exists. However, I would definitely say that, we were talking about the Gen Z and all just a while ago. Rohit, there is a understanding of metaphysical world much easier in their way. So when I'm communicating with, say, a 30, 40 or a 50-year-old person or a client, okay, explaining how things could just be simple by doing a prayer, okay, is a good 1 hour or a 2 hour conversation to help them agree to just trying it out. Wherein a 13-year-old would say, okay, I will try it. And they will immediately give feedback also. I did this is what I got. So their belief in the metaphysical world is much easily penetrable than us or our generation to a
Yeah,
greater extent.
maybe there is more scope for the learning curve to take that place. So that may come from there as well. And we were talking about the generations as well. वो सारी चीजें अभी population बढ़ रहा है, जैसे ही birth होता है, we are relying on the moon sign, sun sign. तो वो valid indicators हो सकते हैं of the personality or destiny, or they are just pseudoscience rooted in our cultural nostalgia.
Um, So astrology is something that I have learned just because I was curious. As I said, I want to know things. What I have learned is astrology is like the destiny. It has been
Mm-hmm.
told, and this is what your prediction looks like. Okay. Now, if we study everything like past life regression, or if we are talking about, was there a previous life, and why you chose to have this birth, and all of those things, astrology to a greater extent will show you your archetype, like what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what kind of life paths are open for a personality like you. Okay. uh India, mostly because we work on patrika, okay,
Hmm.
we generally go by the moon sign, the highest.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there is a sun sign. Okay. So in simple ways to look at it, moon sign is who you are at the core, and sun sign is how people see you.
Okay.
Okay. This is something that uh, is scientifically proven that if you're born in this month, then this could be your personality traits.
Yeah.
Okay. And so far, I believe in it because astrology is based on mathematics. Mathematics calculation is simple. So calculation ke hisab se if things are coming, then I believe in it because there is an evidence of it. It's a simple calculation. 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Similarly, the reason why I also believe in lunar or moon cycles is because we are 85% water.
Hmm.
Now, if you look at the earth, also it is 85% water, and entire high tide and low tide depends on moon. So, if
Yeah.
it is pulling up the water level for us and pulling down the water level for earth, it is doing it for us as well. So, our moods, our way of reaction, our bodily combination is going to work accordingly, and therefore you become a little predictable.
हाँ.
तो ये 100% करेक्ट नहीं है, but it is right there because it applies to most of us. Okay, so
Okay.
how much to believe in it idly? uh, I would say I wouldn't label anyone according to the sun sign or the moon sign. I would genuinely just go to observing who the person is individually, even after studying both of them, because I feel people will always surprise you. And they do. People always surprise you. You would be surprised if you don't judge them. Because the moment for example, I say, hey, I'm November 1, you're like, oh, you're Scorpion. I have developed a filter through which I'm seeing everything. Therefore, my observation is only looking for your Scorpio traits.
Yeah.
बाकी का सब filter हो गया. Which other
Absolutely.
person is noticing who is not judged. Okay. So I would see this only when a client comes to me with a challenge, only to explain certain things. But that wouldn't be my filter to know anyone or understand anyone because it works as a filter, and filter means you're keeping some information out to see something. Then you're not actually seeing the whole individual, and therefore the acceptance level is less. So I don't know if I answered your question, but huh.
ये पॉडकास्ट फिर से देख लेना और फिर मेरे बारे में बता देना.
But huh.
Great. So, Snehal, coming on to the last part of this episode, I have seen this very different trend which is going in the market, the commercialization of the spirituality. ऐसे ऐसे चैनल्स है, ऐसे ऐसे प्रोफाइल्स है, समझ में नहीं आता है देख के कि लाइक इज इट समथिंग दैट इज अ ट्रू sign of spirituality or not, the practices. So I just get curious about it. So is it really happening, like the commercialization of the spirituality?
So, being in the business, I would say yes to a greater extent. And that was one of my biggest inhibitions, Rohit, when I moved to India. Because I was like, oh my God, everybody here is saying this. Okay. And that's when I would say that whether we like it or not, whether you're spiritual or not, whether you're atheist or not, we all are walking the spiritual path. Okay. What is being sold the highest right now is that everybody needs healing.
Hmm.
It is true, but we all heal. Sometimes we need to accelerate the process, but I don't need a lifetime healer with me. So if you have a healer who is there with you for more than a year, then there is a problem because they're not helping you learn how to heal by yourself. Okay. Similarly, when it comes to spirituality, I would say that more people are looking at spirituality outside of them, but it is inside of you. So it doesn't really matter if I have the right yoga pants or the right yoga mat, okay, or I am going to the right healing retreat. What matters is, am I connecting to the individual who is actually going to conduct these things for me, okay? And what they say and what they live by, does it match?
Hmm. This is very important. That day, sorry to interrupt, but that day I was looking at one of the reel. So वहाँ पे एक बाबा थे जो मंदिर में बैठते हैं, सलाह देते हैं वगैरह. And the other day he was traveling through the car listening to some hip hop English music. तो मैं, what is this kind of a thing? Like, how do we trust these kind of people?
So this is where I would actually trust the person who is giving me advice. You know why? Because they're living their life to the fullest. They're
Right.
not different. See, This again, I may be contradicting a lot of people right now. A spiritual person, you may find them with a wine glass in a hand
Hmm.
at
Hmm.
at times. You may find them partying. Okay, you may find them at times doing the wildest of the things, like going for rides crazily or so on and so forth. Uh, to do spirituality, I don't need drugs. Okay, but to be spiritual, I can experience the life in every area to its fullest.
True.
So, is a person spiritual or not will come from the code of conduct.
Hmm.
So, if I am sitting down and suggesting, Rohit, if you want to be spiritual, you need to be vegetarian and you cannot have a drop of alcohol henceforth. Okay. But you see me partying, then the code of conduct is a mismatch.
Yeah.
But if my suggestions, or as a spiritual guide, I'm telling you, what do you feel like? What is your connect? What calls out to you? What does your body tell you? And that guidance, okay, which is coming from divine, from nature, from inner self, is what I would define as spirituality. And that is difficult. That's why I always tell people, don't jump into finding a spiritual guru just because you like them in one or two reels, or ek website. Spend time, read a book if they have written it. Okay, then go watch their videos and see if there is a match in that, in that communication level before you reach a level of selecting a guru. But yes, has it become a business? Yes. And I think it will always, health industry, spirituality or God, okay, will always be in business. And food,
Huh.
ये हमेशा business में रहेगा. What you need to check is our body has very high intelligence. Okay, simplest example to give, we go to eat buffet food.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going for a buffet food next time, and whoever is listening in, try this out. First round, just go and stand in front of every dish and just notice your body. Okay, it'll either swing towards the food or away from the food. That means for that day, that food is either for you or not for you. That is how high level our body intelligence is. So when you are talking about even anything in spirituality, whichever path you take, whether it is bodily fitness, mental fitness, or exploring pathways like connecting to the divine or so on, चेक विथ योर ओन सेल्फ. अगर अंदर वो एक कंपस है ना, इफ इट सेज नहीं कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, तो डोंट मेक इंस्टेंट डिसीजन इवन इफ यू impulsive by nature. Hold on, try it out one more time before you make that decision, because it's
Right.
about that individual being in alignment. Then they can bring you in alignment. If
Huh.
they only don't know how to be in alignment, then there is a challenge. Okay, so yes, it is a billion-dollar industry, and our fear and our impulsiveness is actually making it a billion-dollar industry.
Right. You just gave me some retirement plan ideas. I should be working on them. I was just thinking of this scenario about the buffet thing. There are few people who will just be trying each and every item out there and will be making assumptions. ये अच्छा नहीं था, इसमें मजा नहीं आया, ये काफी अच्छा था. So there exists such kind of people as well. Their body doesn't move anywhere.
No, but ideally the body moves. We
Yeah,
just
it
want to
does. It
stop
does.
listening to it.
Yeah.
And second is, we just want to make the most out of it. And that's
Right.
when I tell people, your body is not a dustbin. You don't have to dump everything into it. And it is such an amazing guidance that we can find our allergies through it. We can
Hmm.
find, if something is good for us or not. Muscle testing actually works. Uh, and no one needs training for it.
Yep.
Our body's capable of it. We just need to start listening to ourselves before listening to the world.
Wow. There's so much to think about this because it's so fascinating. It's an interesting topic. And then how much deep we go, then we start digging more and more. And then we get the new information. Then we have to process it again and then arrive at a conclusion. That conclusion again will be bringing in results. And the process goes on. So it's just up to us how it works, how it will how you will be able to make it work for you. Just try those things out. ऐसे कोई जरूरी भी नहीं है कि सारी चीजें करनी भी चाहिए.
But then what you said actually is the key ingredient. First, process it.
Yeah.
Today, we learn only to learn, and
हाँ,
Learn and give. We haven't inculcated,
राइट।
imbibed anything.
ये
Sorry, I
अभी
interrupted you. Yeah.
वो जो डोपामाइन है ना, अभी जस्ट इंफॉर्मेशन हम कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, वी आर नॉट एब्जॉर्बिंग एंड दैट इज प्रूविंग फेटल. सो लेट्स होप दैट these kind of conversations will bring in the right results for the human, because ultimately we just have one life, we have to figure it out in our own ways. So जिसकी भी हेल्प लेनी है, जिसके के साथ बातें करनी है, इट्स अप टू अस एंड लेट्स मेक इट हैपन. Snehal, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was such a pleasure talking to you on this very topic. We had a long conversation around this, and to make it happen and have this kind of a conversation will really open the eyes for the people and have the reasoning like why we are doing certain things, and people will rely on it, read more about it, and bring in the change to their life. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. And if anyone would love to connect with Snehal, I'll be dropping her social media links in the episode description.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Stay happy, stay healthy. Bye bye. Take care.